Evan, Cynthia, good morning. Welcome in. I'm a little slow getting started. It's yet another morning of me waking up late. But that's alright. We'll get to it. I just had to refill my water so I can get started. I need to, I need to dust off my tablet. Oh, I wonder if it's gonna do. We'll see if the screen goes a little crazy. Okay, not too bad. All right. Hello, Heaven. How is your weekend treating you? Okay, let's see. Do I have water? I wonder. Hold on. Let me mute my mic real quick just so you guys don't have to hear the can of compressed air blowing on my desk because it's a little dusty. One moment. There we go. No compressed air ASMR this morning. All right. Vante, good morning. Welcome in. How are you? Is the music adjacent to the book? So the music that is playing at the moment, I guess the short answer would be yes. The music that is playing right now is the music that I have been listening to as I write the book. So I have associations. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll be really interested to see. The manuscript is going to beta readers soon. I will be very interested to see what kind of vibe the readers get from it, because it's not, how to describe it. I wouldn't in any way call it a quote unquote cozy book. It's really not. I don't want people to have that assumption about it because I think that'd be doing them a disservice. But there are like cozy elements to it that I'm really enjoying, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we'll see what the readers think. Doing good. How are you? Mostly fine, thank you. How are you? You guys are doing well. Hanging in there. I'm also just hanging in there, kind of rolling with the punches. Work has been very crazy, which is not necessarily new, but it's very stressful. You can hear my stress cackle. The whole thing with getting that unofficial, not really the right word, but informal promotion turned out to not be happening, but it is technically still happening because they're still giving me all of these extra responsibilities, but there isn't any kind of recorded passing of those responsibilities to me. So it's basically still happening, but there is no documentation or record to show that I've deliberately been given more responsibility, which isn't great. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting situation at work. On top of that, my boss is entirely out next week, I believe all of next week. So I will be covering for her. So I have to do everything and my own job. But I have to be, point of contact for our vendors and for our client, and I have to handle all of the team questions and the disputes and all of that, which I don't necessarily mind doing, but it's difficult to do those things when I haven't actually been given any level of authority or, for example, access to certain systems that are required to handle certain things. Um, it's difficult and it's an unfortunate position to be in where you're told, hey, you have to lead this team of people, but the team of people know that you do not have any authority over them, so they're not going to listen to you, and it can create some animosity that I don't want to create. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the upcoming week goes, but it is what it is. Is the pay different or the same? The pay is the same. My pay is not changing. My pay actually may be decreasing, which is super fun, but I haven't gotten a direct answer on that. Like most companies, they always try to cut corners and make operations as cheap as possible, so they're kind of trying to cut a bunch of people's pay all at once. So I don't know if I'm included in that or not. I supposedly am getting a merit increase, which is just seniority based, right? So every year you get, a certain percentage of a pay increase. I got one last year. I don't know if I'll get one this year. I'll find out in August. That's when my anniversary with the company is. But yeah, no promotion in the sense of no higher pay or no role change either. So like my job role, my title at the company is not changing, which is also not fun. Because I'm going to be coming up on, in August, again, at my anniversary, I'm going to be coming up on 2 years with the company. And 2 years to not have any promotion opportunities or growth is not great. It could be worse, but it's not great. I don't know. We'll see. It really just kind of depends on how things shake out. I have to. The job needs to be done. The work needs to be done. So next week, someone has to cover for my boss. She's announced that it's going to be me. So I am taking things one day at a time, just trying to get through the upcoming work week. But it is very stressful. It's really draining and exhausting me, which is very frustrating and unfortunate. I don't have a lot of energy left over for the things that I love, and that's really, really starting to grate on me, but that's alright. That's the way that it is. Hopefully things kind of calm down after a while once things are settled. We have this big project going on at work that supposedly should be done in May, and I'm hoping that that means things calm down. I don't know. We'll see. But for the time being, it pays the bills, so it's my priority. So, unfortunately, even if it slows down work a little bit, creative work, that is, it's just the way that it's gotta be. Hang in there, hopefully things brighten up. I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, thank you. Not fun at all. It's not. It's really not, but again, it pays the bills, so I put up with the shenanigans to pay the bills, which is all we can do these days. Also, hello Babel, welcome in. I know you're going to be lurking today, so thank you for coming. But anyways, enough about annoying, sad, real life stuff. Let's take a look at what I'm working on. So this is possibly, I'm leaning towards yes, but this is going to be the cover for the standalone. Probably. Like 90% sure. I have flip-flopped back and forth between am I going to commission somebody, commission another artist to work on the cover, because I kind of don't necessarily want to use my own art, because this is going to be under a different pen name. But at the same time, I also don't want to spend money on this, because it's really, really easy to, when you're self-publishing, it's very easy to throw a lot of money at it, trying to make it as good as it can be, right? Which is what I admittedly do with Immolation, but Immolation is kind of a different beast, right? It's this much larger scale story. It's several books. I just kind of have a little bit of a different working relationship with that project versus this one, which I am not, what's the right word? Not trying to do it in like a lazy manner, not at all. but I am trying to keep the costs low because it just isn't financially viable for me to be throwing money at this and immolation at the same time. That'd be really, really expensive. Uh, so my goal with this one is to kind of try to, both for cost cutting measures, try to keep things, as low cost, possibly free, but also because I'm going to be self-editing this rather than having a professional editor come on and help me, which Immolation will always have a professional editor. I love my editor. She's wonderful to work with. And I fully intend, when the story is that big, it's also just the word count is as big as it is. I need a second pair of eyes on it for sure. There's no way I can get around that. So Immolation is always going to have a professional editor. Yes, that is very expensive. But Immolation is always going to have that, but I would like to use this as an exercise in self-editing so that I can, one, improve, because that's important, and two, again, just try to keep the costs a little bit lower. So that armor is not made to protect anyone's heart. I'm having a lot of fun with just the kind of, what's the word that I use to describe it to a friend? Oh, that's another thing I'll have to mention as well about this. I am probably, hopefully, it'll depend on what she's available for, but I have a friend who hopefully will be collaborating with me on this, so I am going to be providing the base, so the line work. I'm not sure if I'm going to render the brambles, like the briar thorns that are kind of coming through, or if she will want to render them, but basically I am doing the base, the lines, etc., and she will be actually coloring and rendering it. Because her artwork is gorgeous, and I asked her if she would be interested in collaborating on this with me. So, all that to say, I forgot my train of thought. What was I saying before that? I got distracted by talking about, right, the word that I used. I got back there in the end. The word that I used when kind of describing it to my friend is, it's such a departure from Immolation, because Immolation, I did a lot of historical research, and I wanted it to be not historically accurate, obviously, it's a fantasy novel, but I wanted it to be kind of in the realm of, historical fiction, right? I wanted it to be semi-realistic in the way that people are dressed, and the way that magic or, combat, etc. functions. I have a lot of, you don't see a ton of this in book one. You'll see more of it in book two, but I have like a lot of historical swordplay in there. I have all these different things about, and again, you don't necessarily see this or read this in volume one. You won't necessarily see it in the other volumes either, but things about how the city is laid out, what their technology is, like the entire city is basically hydraulic, and you wouldn't know that unless I told you. But those are the sort of things that I researched a lot of, in terms of keeping it in the realm of being semi-realistic to the point that it's, believable. It doesn't have to be realistic, because obviously it's a fantasy novel, but, believable. You don't necessarily have to sacrifice a ton of, oh gosh, I haven't had any coffee this morning. What's the word? It's gonna kill me. What is there's a phrase that I'm thinking of. I lost it. I forget what that phrase is. Oh, it's gonna bother me. That's it. Anyways. Oh, it's gonna kill me. Why can't I remember what that is? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways. You don't have to sacrifice a ton of believability in order to understand the world of Immolation. And even though this standalone, technically, there's a big asterisk on that, takes place in the same world, it's going to have a lot more whimsy and kind of a lot more fantasy to it. So it's going to kind of not completely do away, but somewhat do away with, the kind of rigid outlines that I keep in Immolation to keep things, relatively believable, relatively historically accurate, again, within kind of a fantasy parameter. But this one just kind of goes, nope, This is just for fun. This is all whimsy. This is all fun. So I get to have a little bit more leeway with fancy outfits and fun things like that. And poor Angelique, her hair is all tangled up. But anyways, all I have to say, I am going to try, the keyword being try. I'm going to try to finish some of the details on this. I don't know if I need to line the thorns for my friend, or if she wants to render those. I'll probably try to clean them up at least a little bit, because right now they're very rough. But I mostly want to fiddle with the armor. The armor still needs some detailing, and I'm not sure if I'm going to give her a belt. Because she should have, I think I actually sketched in a version of it. Let's see. Yeah, I put in like the base. So normally what she'd have here is she would have a belt that's like worn kind of high about the waist, buckles, and so on. And then this kind of supports the sheath for the sword that she would be drawing. No, she's not left-handed. That's just the way that I did the sketch and the composition. If I really feel like I have to have her be right-handed, I can mirror it. It's not a big deal. But for the time being, she's just going to be left-handed because. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to include the belt because I kind of don't want to cover up the armor. I kind of like being able to see it. She could just be holding her sword. I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't know. We'll see. But beyond that, I obviously do have... All of the armor is kind of sketched in white just so I could see what I was doing. But it does need to be turned black. So that's some of it. Let's see if I can get this all into place. There we go. That's a general idea. I do want to make some tweaks though, and having it be white for now just helps me see where everything is. And then we have to deal with the thorns, briars, brambles, whatever you want to call them. Which I can go ahead and hide some of these. Yeah, because these ones are going to be going in front of her, and the others are going to be behind, and you can see that her hair is supposed to be kind of tangled up in them. Poor Angelique does not have the top of her head right now. So we can just pretend that she's got the top of her head up there. Because that's probably going to be cropped out or hidden by the thorns anyways. And yes, she doesn't currently have any eyes, so we'll just ignore that. question. Do you have music playlists for your stories and characters? I do. They're mostly just on YouTube. They are pretty much all private. I've considered making some of them public, but they're not they're not necessarily very well curated. Like I have things that flip-flop between genres and so on and so forth, so I'd have to clean them up a little bit, but they do exist. Bronte and Cyril have the most robust playlists, but I do have one for the standalone. Lilith, welcome in. Good to see you. How are you today? If you ever make public, let me know. I want to listen. I will definitely let you know. I'll give a shout in the Discord if I ever make them public. The thing with these Brambly boys is I want to how do I put this? So they're not just kind of these twiggy brambles, like these are all gonna have thorns on them later, but there's also going to be the younger vines that are very kind of swirly, and it's really easy to get tangled up in them. So there's going to be more of those. Kind of like the kind of brambles that you'd find with like a blackberry bush, right? Kind of like that. So there's older vines that are thicker, kind of like this one, and then there's going to be younger ones that are kind of more swirly. But anyways, I'll get to those when I get to them. She has such long hair. What a Rapunzel. I know, she has wonderful long hair. It's so much fun to draw. I don't get to draw Bronte's hair very much because she always wears a veil, so it's fun to draw Angelique's hair. Can't wait for the summer holidays. Are you not doing any courses over summer? I tried to register for courses because I want to take a couple of extra things, but alas, I was not fast enough. So we'll see. I'm going to try to take something over the fall, work permitting. Don't ask me how I'm going to manage 2 books, work, school, possibly moving house. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yes, Tangled. Wonderful film. I wouldn't say that this standalone is trying in any way to be a what's the word? Like a fairy tale retelling. I don't. It's not trying to be that at all. But I definitely included, like, I mean, if it wasn't obvious, like with the briar, thorns, brambles, whatever you want to call them. I call them a bunch of different things in the manuscript. If it wasn't obvious, there definitely are some fantasy, like classic fantasy story references, for lack of a better word, but it's not in any way meant to be a retelling of them. That's not the goal of it. I just think they're neat. I actually found, I've been looking for it for a while, but I found an old copy. It's a retired library copy of a particular version of Sleeping Beauty that just had really, really pretty illustrations. And I remember my parents having that book when I was a little kid, and I had been trying to find it, but I had looked and I couldn't figure out what the illustrator's name was or where to find it or who published it. But I finally found it secondhand. And I ordered it and I got it in the mail a couple days ago. And it's like I mentioned, it's a retired library book. And they didn't actually remove the kind of library slip from it. So it has all these names of like all these kids that had checked out the book from their school library, which was super, super cute. Obviously, I've got some that overlap here, so I'm just gonna have to erase this one that overlaps and put that on another layer. Sleep is for the weak, I see. Yeah, pretty much. What's the author called? I want to see the illustrations. Let me see. I've got it here. Let's see. So it is specifically called The Sleeping Beauty, rather than just Sleeping Beauty, which might have been part of why I was having such a hard time finding it, because I was missing the at the beginning of the title. So let's see. This is The Sleeping Beauty, retold and illustrated by Trina. So difficult font to read. Sharthyman, I think is how you'd say that. Scharthyman. This poor book has really been through it. This book is not in particularly good condition, but that means it's well loved. Lots of kids read this, so that's okay. But here, I'll post a quick photo of one of the pages, just one of the random pages in the Discord real quick. I'll just put it in chit chat. There we go. I remember really, really liking the princess's design. And there's a really, really cute illustration of the prince and the princess on the back. I'll have to take a picture of that too. Give me a second. What's the last name again? The name is Trina, first name Trina, last name Sharthyman, I'm assuming is how you pronounce it, but I'll spell it again. It's Scharthyman. I'll probably just put that, I mean, I might as well just put it in the Discord chat for you. But oh my god, the little illustration on the back is so cute. It's really dark in my room. Sorry, let me open my curtains. I'll get a better picture. Well, I say that, but then it's overcast outside. Let's see. Sharthyman. It's 3 words. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Thank you, Vontae. I put the other illustration that's on the back of the book. Oh, it's so cute. The art is just so charming. I remember being inspired to draw a lot by this book when I was a little kid, so I'm really, really happy that I found a copy of it. Because I think my parents donated theirs, like they donated all of our little kids' books when my sister and I grew up. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's a typo. I think it is a typo. Look at this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you this typo that's not in the book, but it's in the it's in the, what's it called? Like the library slip. Here, let me, whoops. Hey, where'd my art go? Put that back. That's not what I want to show, come on. Alright, hold please. Anyways, let me let me show you. They made a typo on the author's name on the library slip. They put Trinka with a K, but it's right next to Trina where they spelled it correctly. But yeah, you can look at all these little kids that checked out this book. The earliest check-in, check-out date, it doesn't have the grade, so it probably started off in a different library that perhaps wasn't a school library, and was eventually moved to like an elementary school library, because the first checkout date is December 5th, 1978, and the most recent, the last one on this slip, it looks like it might be February 25th, 2004. I just love little things like that. I actually have another book that is not a retired library book, but hold on, I have to show you. These little kids' handwriting is so cute. And it's funny, you can tell that one of these kindergartners, the name was written by like the teacher or the librarian, not the kid. The handwriting is so cute. Look at Sarah. Look at Sarah. She's got this fancy handwriting. That's super cute. Anyways, I love when books just have little itty bitty pieces of history and story in them. I have another book because I like to collect old books. This isn't an old book per se, but I like to collect books in general. And one of the books I have is a novel. I forget what novel it is. It's something. It's a copy of something that I am not intimately familiar with, but it has a note for Christmas, the year 1945, which would have been when the war was over, which is just fascinating, a fascinating little note. And I believe it's from, I'd have to get it to read it, but I think it's like from Gwen to Edith or something like that. So I don't know if maybe they were sisters, if they were friends, I don't know what the relationship between the two of them was, but anyways, I just love that. I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, they corrected one of the names with a red pen. And I don't know why they put Trinka for the author. Okay, hold on. Let me see why my Psy stopped responding. I might have to restart it. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. Now it's back. Alright. Anyway. Morgan, welcome in. It's good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. And give me just a moment. I need to drink some water. I wonder if I can find that book. I might try to find that book. Hold on. Okay, no luck on the book because I realized I've packed most of my books up. So unfortunately it is in storage. I won't be able to get it down right now, but it was very cute, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe the note that was in it was actually written in verse as well, which was really, really cute. But yes, anyways, I love finding little bits of history like that, little books that have their own little stories inside of them. I'm very fond of that. Alas, I'm trying not to buy more books right now because I've got well, I hope I have a hope and a dream of moving soon. So I'm trying to, downsize and, sell things off or donate stuff that I don't need rather than, buying more and more books. But one day I hope I will have a nice little place of my own and a nice little library. Maybe even a study if we want to be really, really fancy. One day. Okay, let's see. shorten this branch and then just have another longer one behind it? I think I'm gonna do that. Show us next time. If I can find it, I have to figure out which box it's in. Because if I put all my books into one box, that box ends up really, really heavy. So I scattered them through other boxes so that no one box would be too heavy, which was great and very clever at the time when I thought I was moving, and then now it's not. But that's okay. I'm sure I must have like a photo of it somewhere. It might be on my previous phone, so I'd have to charge that phone and take a look through it. But I'm sure I have it somewhere because I know I sent it to a few people. Mostly because the handwriting was a little bit hard to read. It's cursive, which I can read just fine, but it's a little bit hard to read. Really want to work on Conley again this summer? Do it. I believe in you. I think this one was intended to go behind. No, this one wouldn't have been intended to go behind her because I have this layer up front. Interesting. Okay, well, I will just have to extend that somehow. When are you actually moving? So it depends. So I did actually put in an offer on a little condo that I was going to buy, but I was beat out by an all cash offer, which is pretty common, at least here. It's pretty common. So someone, rolls up with the full cash amount rather than needing financing. I would need financing, so they usually can buy as is. So I was beat out for the condo that I was interested in purchasing. I would prefer a house, but a condo is more within my budget currently. So I'm a little bit more limited because if you buy a condo here, 99% of the time you are also signing up for an HOA, which is not great. So there's a whole bunch of things you have to take into consideration when you're possibly moving into an HOA, to prevent unpleasant surprises further down the road. So that kind of complicates things. But beyond that, with work the way that it is, I have been trying to be careful because the last thing I want to do is, buy something and then either get a pay cut at work or, something else happens that makes it difficult for me to afford where I'm living. So probably not going to be looking at buying something so for the immediate future. The other alternative is renting somewhere, which I could rent somewhere. That'd be fine. But I would really prefer to buy if possible, because rent will go up every year versus if you buy, it's only really your property taxes going up. But I don't know. We'll see. I have to, if the right thing comes along, obviously I'll kind of swing for it. But especially with work the way that it is, I don't know if I'm getting a pay cut. I don't know if I'm getting a promotion. I don't have really solid answers for a lot of things. I'm also trying to get some certifications that are a little bit expensive for work, all sorts of stuff. And obviously all of that, both time, energy, and money, it cuts into being able to create stuff, which if you want to create things on the internet, you have to constantly keep creating or else you're going to get forgotten about. So there's a hard kind of balance to strike there, but ideally, in general, I do want to move. But I'd be looking for, probably a shorter lease somewhere, so that if I find something that I can buy, then I don't, I'm not stuck in some year-long lease. But that's easier said than done. Most places really want a year-long lease, so I am mostly packed up to move so that if I find something, I can. But with the way the market is right now, it's not been super, super easy. But we'll see. Fingers crossed I do find something. Favorite Disney movie? Mine is Enchanted. Enchanted is super cute. If I had to pick a favorite Disney movie, oh God. See, I grew up on like all the classic Disney animated films, so it's really hard to choose just one. If I had to choose one though, it'd be Beauty and the Beast. No stability is really frustrating. It is. It's frustrating for me. I'm also a single person income, right? So I don't have a significant other. I don't want a significant other. I don't have like someone else's income to fall back on should I receive, a pay cut or should there be an emergency, like I need a new car or, stuff like that. So I'm really, really careful with my finances. So it makes it more tricky because I have, a little bit less of a safety net, should life happen. And as we all know, of course, life will always happen. That's just the way that it goes. So we'll see. It'd be weird for the con line to be written around in a circle instead of up and down, side to side. That'd be a dumb idea. I think you should do what your heart desires. I'm just going to make this really skinny. I actually watched The Sound of Music the other day. Oh, did you like it? I love The Sound of Music. Got to go. Have a great rest of the stream. Thank you so much for stopping by, Heaven. I'm glad you could make it. Have a good rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your weekend. thinned those out considerably, but it's something to start with, because I'm trying to figure out, yeah, you can tell that that's what I meant for her hair to get stuck on over here. I don't know. I have to decide which pieces her hair is going to get stuck on. Obviously, I know this one up here for sure, but... I did like it. Maria's moments with the children are definitely my favorite. They're wonderful. Kind of didn't expect it to be a musical, and it made the experience so much better. Yeah. The waltz with Maria and Captain Von Trapp is like permanently etched into my brain. I absolutely love that moment. The chemistry of his chemistrying. I'd be lying if I said that the waltz scene didn't inspire a scene with Bronte and Cyril. Just saying. because I have the... Yeah, there's gonna be way more, because obviously this thicker branch has to come kind of like all the way down in front of her face and completely cover her eyes. So, debating if I want to scale this up at all. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep fiddling with things. I'm sure, if I can give this to my friend and she, as she works on rendering it, if she has any suggestions or if she wants to tweak things, then she definitely can. Because I trust her judgment. She's an excellent artist. Twig looks like a skeletal finger. That may be by design. I mean, it is kind of grabbing onto her. The memory folders are crippling. I don't remember them waltzing together in book 1. It doesn't happen in book 1. But it might happen in book 2. But you didn't hear that from me. No spoilers for book 2 here. I promise. There's actually a whole animatic. I don't talk a whole lot about all the animatic drafts that I have, but there is actually an animatic that's just the two of them waltzing. But I figured, I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be like a spoiler for book 2. But now you know. Maybe that'll be posted sometime when book 2 is published as like a little treat. I don't know. We'll see. Trying to add animatics on top of everything that I'm trying to do is a fool's errand, but here I am. I keep looking at her sleeve and it keeps bothering me, so I'm gonna fix it. Hold on. Okay, that'll do. Alright, now I want to see if I can try doing some of the curly ones. I don't really have any set idea for this, so they're just gonna be random. can kind of see the resemblance of Maria and Bronte, but our vampire girl is way more melancholic in my eyes because she's a true damsel in distress. I think Bronte has some growing yet to do, but I think in some ways she'll always be a damsel in distress. I mean, the novel, the Immolation story, is a gothic horror, and the damsel in distress is a quintessential part of the genre, but she still has some growing to do yet. The main protagonist is so quirky at first. She's very quirky. Reminded me of the actress in the 60s movies my grandparents would watch. Yeah, she definitely starts off, well, I mean, I would say arguably she is kind of throughout. Maria's very quirky. Quirky is a good word, but she's also very bubbly, which is not necessarily how Bronte acts. Like you said, Bronte's a little bit more melancholic, but also Bronte is just kind of a bit more quiet in her personality. She definitely has a sense of humor, and she definitely can be very cheeky when she wants to be, but she doesn't quite let that show just yet. Maybe as she warms up to Cyril just a little bit more, we'll see. We'll start to see more of it. I'm sure Cyril would like that. Any of y'all watch the Wisses? Oh my goodness, the Witches of Eastwick. Woo, say that 3 times fast. I don't watch anything. I don't have time. I don't have time, and I take after my dad in that neither he or I are capable of sitting still for the entire duration of like a film or a show anymore. Like the only time that I watch things anymore is if I'm sick in bed and I can literally do nothing else. But otherwise, I kind of go stir crazy. I have to be doing something else. Is anybody else like that, or is it just me? Am I the weird one? I'm assuming I'm the weird one. like that very much. Only because witch types up. See, I hear east and witch in the same sentence, and I assume that it's about like Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch. Or, well, isn't she the West? Yeah, Wicked Witch of the West. Anyways, you get the idea. I hear a cardinal direction and the word witch, and I just assume. But I am assuming this has nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz, and it's a different franchise or a different IP. I also don't have much time to watch or read, but movies are a great pastime while showering. I just listen to music usually. Every now and then, if there's like a film that I'm interested in, or if someone really wants to see, then we'll go to a theater and we'll watch it, and that's fine. I only get a little stir crazy during those. But yeah, like if someone gives me the option of like doing literally anything else and like being at home watching a movie, I'll usually pick anything else. I'd rather read. I prefer reading to watching films. I do a lot more reading than I do watching things. They tickle different parts of my brain, I guess. You know, reading feels a lot more immersive and a lot more interesting to me, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, because I read both. Reading, I can easily accidentally spend a whole hour, whole afternoon just gone immediately because I just spent the whole time reading, which is not a bad thing, but it's only a bad thing if I had other things I needed to be doing that day, which I usually do. No, I was considering taking up beta reading as kind of like a side gig. So I don't know. I might be doing some more reading here soon. I don't know if I necessarily should be taking on more more work on top of everything, but I really enjoy reading, and it's a good exercise for me as a writer to be reading things that other writers have written, so I can learn from them. So I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing that soon. I do a little bit of it here and there, but not like for money or anything. So I might start like charging, like not too much, but charging a small amount to, get a little extra spending money and also practice my work. The only thing I kind of bump into there that I'm not sure about is I really, really don't want to work with an author, and I wouldn't even call them an author. I don't want to work with anyone who's using generative AI to quote unquote write their stories, because then they're not writing it, they're just prompting an AI. And I don't want to be helping those people. It's really hard to screen for that. So I don't know. We'll see. Just kind of one of those thoughts that's been knocking around in my head lately. Because if I'm not going to get a raise at my real job, I probably need to start getting some extra income elsewhere. Should probably go behind her. Oh my goodness, my stomach is grumbling so loud. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. But if I want to see a movie I haven't watched in a while, I will watch it. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I just want to go back and rewatch like classic movies that like I grew up with, like Beauty and the Beast. I would happily, set aside a night to just relax and watch Beauty and the Beast because I love it so much. I might start a petition to include a few scenes of Bronte with children in the upcoming books. Well, I can informally confirm that there will be at least a couple. I'd say that book two, the manuscript for book two, for volume two, whatever you want to call it, is probably sitting at, I'd say, between 35 and 40% complete at the moment. I know I've been talking about how I've been working on the standalone novel and that it's currently my priority and so on, and it is, but I've been working on Immolation the entire time as well. I've been working on it since the first one was published. So it's a fair bit through its development. Obviously still has a long way to go, but I definitely have an idea of what is going to be included because obviously I have to decide, what's going to be included in book two versus what am I pushing back to book three. And there are still some kind of executive decisions I have to make there. But cute scenes with Bronte can confirm make it into book two. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Have a cookie. Hell yeah, I love cookie. What kind of cookie is it? Okay, you're getting there. I like the shape of these so far. I think it works. I need to do. I'll definitely play around with the sizes of these because these ones are all pretty small, and she again has to have like the larger, like thicker vines kind of going in front of her face. But I think we're getting there. It's going well. I think this one. Let's see if I can. Oops. I think this one right here. Probably I'm going to make that one bigger. And I might make this one back here. It's kind of going behind her hair. I might make that one bigger as well. We'll see. Let's take a look. So what did I sketch on the original here? Obviously there's going to be like a gradient kind of in the background, but I'm going to leave that up to my friend who's going to be doing the rendering. She's going to be controlling the colors and the lighting and kind of working however she thinks would best suit the piece. But I am going to do this, the big one, I think. It kind of goes in front of her eyes. Some leaves, dried leaves. Well, these thorns are going to have, well, the thorns. The branches are all going to have thorns on them. They don't really have leaves though. They're just thorny boys. I remember you like chocolate chips as much chocolate as you like. Hell yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much. This cookie will keep me going today. Actually don't hate the shape of the original, so I think I'm gonna keep it pretty close. I'll just make little tweaks. I don't mind if you do see a little bit of her eyes behind it, but the general point is that it should mostly obscure her face. Well, her eyes. I did sincerely love scenes of Cyril with children, but they totally fooled me. It's exactly why it's so fascinating to find out what's coming up next. I hope the next book is, what's a good word? Exciting? Maybe maybe that's a good word for it. Because obviously I wanted to spend book one mostly introducing people to the world and kind of getting to know the characters and learning things about, Cyril and how he acts, some of how he thinks, some of his decisions. So things might get a little bit more hectic in book two, for lack of a better word. I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Is Angelique going to cry on the cover? Does she do that at all? Her pride says no. She doesn't cry. Does she cry anyways? Yes. I don't know if she'll be crying on the cover. She could be. I wonder, hold on. Let me take a look at the website because I want to make sure that I'm saying it the right way. Hold on. Let's see. Because I think I mentioned... Yeah, so in the blurb for the book, or like the little synopsis that you can read of the book and what it's going to be about, is that victims of the kidnapper, their eyes turn black. And their eyes typically do water, so they start crying from that, because it's not fun. So I'm considering that she might have, black kind of leaking from her eyes on the cover. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do that. I could. It would be accurate to the book. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure that's a pretty easy thing to add or take away, so I'm sure I could just ask my friend as she's rendering if she thinks it would look good, and she can do a version that has that, and then we can decide yes or no from there. I might be lazy. Hold on. Let's see if I can get away with doing this. What do we think? Is that too obvious? I think it might be too obvious. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep it for now. I think it's too obvious, but I can just... There we go. Save myself some time. Oops, it's too close. There we go. Also, the nuns in the movies. The last scene, I was laughing so hard. The nuns in Sound of Music are so fun. I cannot tell you how many times I listened to the song Maria, which is the "How do you solve a problem like Maria" song, while thinking about Bronte and working on some of Bronte's scenes, because you know that people in the church are like, what are we supposed to do with this? Though I'm afraid Mother Superior in Immolation is not quite as supportive of Bronte as Mother Superior in Sound of Music is supportive of Maria. I wouldn't say that she's quite as openly antagonistic of Bronte as Serge is, but she certainly doesn't like her, but she doesn't like her for different reasons than Serge. Death Moon Dragon, welcome in. Good day, how are you? Their dislike of her is so unjustifiable. I know, she's so sweet. How could you not like her? Though I don't know, you'll get to see Mother Superior's reasons in Volume 2, but I don't know, she might have some good points. Pretty well, it's been a bit. How the matters going for you? I'm hanging in there, I think. I think with the state of the world, hanging in there is kind of a good summary. Just one day at a time, but doing well overall. Sorry, not super chatty today. How is the art going? No worries. I know you said you were going to be lurking today. I know you've got your server that you're with today. And thank you for lurking. We're getting there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to doing the thorns today, but I should be able to get the outline of all the branches themselves. Because what I'd like to do, and you can't really tell this right now, but what I'd like to do is make the ones that are closest to kind of the front. Those ones are going to be the darkest, so they're probably just going to be black. And then to kind of provide depth to kind of show people, well, to show the other artist who's going to be working on it, but also just to show the viewer kind of which ones, like, so let's see. So these ones are going to be black, but then I will go through and this one's way in the back, so that one will be much lighter. And I'll kind of go through and I'll adjust each of these so that you can kind of get a sense of depth, because it's supposed to kind of look like this web of, I mean, you know how brambles are, right? It's supposed to kind of look like this patch of briars that she's really stuck in. So we'll see. I want to add some depth to them, but for now I'm just kind of working out the shapes. We'll see how much I can get done. I do like the shapes so far. I think they're the right level of gnarly and kind of creepy, which is what they're supposed to be. Serge, oh, I don't want to think about him in Volume 2. Oh, it's gonna be rough. I'm looking forward to it. Serge has been... Everybody hates Serge. Everybody who's read the book is like, wow, I hate this guy. I'm like, this is great. This is wonderful. Because he's so much fun to write, because he's so nasty. He's just such an unpleasant person, and it's so much fun. I'm sure it's only like that to me, the writer, and everybody else is kind of terrified, but still. Honestly, same at this point. It's something. It really is. It's... And it's like, and what am I supposed to do about it, right? Like, looking around at the world, I'm just like, wow, I can impact virtually none of this. So I'm just gonna fight the good fight. Whoever that is, as I haven't acquired your book yet, I need to do that in the future. As always, the art is beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope that if you are able to get the book in the future, that you enjoy it. This character is actually, even though she technically will be showing up in Immolation, she's actually from a standalone, is a separate project I'm working on that'll be published a little bit later this year. Under a different pen name, so it's a little bit of a different beast, this story. It's more of a pure kind of romance versus like the pure fantasy that Immolation leads. So, a little bit different beast, but it's gonna be fun. I think it's a good writing exercise. Okay, let's see. I want to do some curly boys kind of up at the top. No, it would be fun, because real life brambles do this, is to have some of the younger vines. They kind of climb up the older ones. That could be fun. That'd be really annoying to draw, but it could be fun. Could look nice. But as you'll notice, she doesn't really have the top of a head. Like there isn't. I didn't draw in like her bangs or anything like that, because this is intended to be the cover for the novel. So it's not going. You're not going to see this full image. You're going to see a cropped version of it. And in theory, I think I've got a quick version. Yeah. So in theory, it's going to be a lot more narrow, right? So you're not going to see everything. And I'm not sure if we're going to be focusing more on like the sword, or if we're going to be seeing the top of her head, etc. So some of those things aren't really solidified yet, because it depends on kind of where the text is going to go and what looks best for the composition. We might, let's say for example, we might move, the crop, one way or another, just to kind of give you a very rough idea. So could be anywhere, but for now, just kind of working on the base. Nothing wrong with expanding one's skills and creative reach. For myself, I've been looking into game design to put your art into. That's fascinating. I hope you have a lot of fun with that. That's great. Well, the SpongeBob bald meme. Poor Angelique. She puts up with so much crap from me in this book, and then I go and make her bald. The poor thing. I'm sure she'll forgive me eventually. Probably. I mean, she doesn't really have a choice, but still. Alright, so let's see. Let's go back to doing this little curly guy up here. Because again, all these are going to have thorns on them as well, which will be added in later, but I am hoping, just kind of depending on my friend's availability, to have this be a collaboration with a friend of mine. She is going to be doing the coloring and the rendering, so I'm just getting the lines, the kind of general composition, and like the base ready for her. And then she will be taking over for coloring and rendering. So if she wants to make changes to the brambles, to the thorns, or anything like that, then she's more than welcome to, because I trust her judgment. She's an excellent artist. But for now, I just want to make it something that's going to be as easy as possible to work with. So, within reason, because my layering tends to be terrible, tends to kind of drive her nuts, but hopefully she'll appreciate it, and she actually has to work with it. Hair rights revoked. Snazzy, I bet it'll look beautiful. It's very interesting to see a collage of others' art styles. Yeah, this is my first time doing a collaboration in a really, really long time. It's been so long, so I'm really excited. I hope she has a lot of fun with it. I really like how she renders skin and especially metal, and obviously Angelique here is wearing a bunch of armor, so I'm really excited. I think that's going to look really, really cool. So we'll see what my friend feels up for. Obviously, if she doesn't feel like she's up for finishing it or anything, then I'll take over again. This isn't really a formal thing where I'm still gonna pay her. Obviously, she might try to refuse, but I'm still gonna pay her. She's not in the stream. I don't have to worry about her hearing that. But she's taking this on as like, oh, just a fun project with a friend. It's not like it's a paid commission in her mind. So just kind of depending on how things go, she might only get so far, and then I'll take back over. But either way, I think it's going to be really fun, because I've been wanting to do a collaboration with her for a while. And her coloring is just really, really pretty. Alright. I might steal this because that's fun. Just put that over there. Cool. Alright. I want to put here. I think this will kind of curl around. I think that could be fun. Will we even see that once it's cropped? Don't know, but I think it looks cute, so that's all that matters. If I like the finished piece enough, then I could just make it a print and have it be separate anyways. So there'd be one version for the book cover, and then one version that could be just a print, just pretty art. Because why not? Eventually, one day, I want to move over a bunch of my files to prints in general, so that people who want to can purchase those. So I've got a bunch of art, like a bunch of stills from the animatics, from all the animatics, that could be nice as kind of like wallpapers or prints. It's just yet another thing on the list of things I need to do that I don't necessarily have time for, but hopefully once my big kid job calms down a little bit, I can kind of slowly start tackling my bucket list, for lack of a better word, of various art things I want to do. May I hope for a little bit of pink? Absolutely. Definitely pink. Angelique's color palette has a lot of very kind of soft peaches and pinks in it, which I'm really excited to see how my friend renders those, because I think it's going to be really, really pretty. Honestly, if you ever do collector's editions or something, collector prints would be interesting. You have an art style I bet everyone would seek. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. It's allowed at the local witches markets that would happen. I mean, I hope so. I have been wanting to do something. I actually, well, I wanted to do this for the launch of Immolation, but I couldn't afford it. I already spent so much on editing, and you have to buy ISBNs, and you have to, do all this stuff to publish the book. So I just didn't end up having the spare budget for it. But one thing I thought would be nice would be to, using my art, it would be something that I've drawn or would draw specifically for this. But I'd really like to have either like a print or like maybe a bookmark or, something that, goes with the book that has like a gold foil finish on it. So, for example, there would be, I mean, you've seen art of Cyril. I typically have everything grayscale and then different pieces of gold are rendered. So you'll have like his sash or his cross or his earrings or his rings, whatever it might be. His halo, if you can see his halo, all of that is gold. And I thought it'd be really, really cool to have that as either like, again, a print, a bookmark, a card, whatever it might be, where it's that, but everything that I render digitally is actually gold foil in person. I thought that would be so cool. And I found some printers that do that. Again, it was just too expensive, and you have to order those things in bulk, so you have to get like 100, 500, or whatever it might be, which is more than I've even sold of books, so that's not going to happen. But something for the future, maybe, I'm thinking once all 3 books are published, I can do like maybe like a package that's all 3 books, and has some extra goodies in it. One thing I would like to do is have a map made, both to go actually in the book prints themselves, but also just as a separate print that like maybe you can hang up somewhere. I think it'd be really nice to have a map of kind of the province, or I guess, I don't know if I'd be able to get a map of the city. That would be a lot more difficult. You'd require a lot more detail and research, but the province in general, I think would be pretty fun. Just a nice, classic kind of fantasy map. I would have loved to do that for book 1 anyway, but budget. I am poor. Okay, not that poor, but I'm poor enough. I can get 2 toppings on my pizza, but that's about the extent of my wealth. Sounds spectacular, and yeah, and the economy just is, yeah, they're about to get, especially things like printing. So much of that was done abroad, so now you have to try to find things that are domestic, which I'm sure they exist, but they might be more expensive, because even if they are printing domestically, they might, have a supply chain for paper or, whatever it might be that is international. So now it's going to be a lot more expensive. So I'm holding off on that for obvious reasons, but it's definitely something that's in my mind. I would say the map is probably top priority, because I want a map to be in the book, because I personally love kind of flipping back and looking at the map and seeing where I am at that moment. But I don't know, we'll see. A map. Listen, either or I'd snatch that. Yeah, I definitely hope for a map. There is a website, I believe, called the Cartographers Guild, I think is what it's called, where artists who specifically work on maps kind of post their portfolios, and you can pitch, I have this project, here's the rights that I need, because, for example, if I commission an artist for that, I'd have to pay them commercial rights, so that gets very expensive very, very quickly. So I'd need to like put a pitch up, say, this is what I'm looking for, this is the art style I'm interested in, here's my budget, is anyone interested? And then I can get pitches from there. which again, it's just yet another very, very expensive commission because, again, the map itself might not cost too much to have made, depending on what I go with and what the artist rates are. But oh boy, those commercial rights, those get expensive really, really fast. Even if I don't actually generate a profit, I still have to pay the commercial rights. So it can be very pricey, but I do think it's going to be worth it. It's just, again, I kind of have to budget for it. And I wish I had a better idea of what my job was going to be paying me going forward. We'll see, one day at a time. But it is on my wish list for sure. It looks like a scorpion stinger. That's fun. I like that. I'm down for that. I think I found a website that can assist in making your own map. The sad thing is, to get anything extra or an expansive map to customize, you have to pay. Yeah, that's pretty typical, which is understandable. I understand that we all gotta make money in this economy. But yeah, especially when I'm trying to write multiple books, I work a full-time job, I'm trying to move house, trying to continue my education, trying to get certifications, I'm doing all these different things. It just, wow, it just makes the idea of just paying an artist, it just makes it so much more appealing than paying to then also have to figure it out myself. Like, please, just let me put money in your pocket. There's a chance you might not be fully satisfied with the result. That's true. It's actually part of why I shy away from commissions. I've had some bad commission experiences, kind of like back in the day. Um, but something with a map, especially if I, for example, let's say I go through something like the Cartographers Guild, um, there's because people can pitch and they can show their portfolios, I'd have kind of a better chance of hopefully finding someone that I feel like aligns with what I'm looking for in terms of the style and so on. But yeah, there's always a risk that I won't be super satisfied. I don't the thing to weigh there is, am I gonna be more satisfied with something I make versus something someone who has a lot more experience making maps can make? And there's again, there's like, yeah, just like Dragon says, there's pros and cons to both. I get to, for lack of a better word, outsource it to someone else, so it's one thing off of my plate because I already have so much I'm working on. But there's also the fact that means, yeah, you give up some creative control. That's just a natural part of commissioning artwork. So we'll see. It depends. Maybe I find an artist who is okay with collaboration in some way, right? Where like I can kind of have the file when they're done with it and make little tweaks. Some artists are fine with that and some aren't. So who knows? We'll see. When I have a couple spare $1,000, I will look at that because that's about what it would cost me to get a map made and have commercial rights for it. So that's a ways off. That's going to be very expensive because it's probably going to cost about the same or probably more than what it costs to get Immolation professionally edited, which is also several $1,000s. So it is just the way it is. But I can only afford so much in this crumbling economy of ours. We love the artist out. Delicious, my favorite flavor. Just a little bit of self-doubt on a Sunday afternoon. Okay, let's see. I do want to do more behind her. Be nice if I had her blocked out, but that's alright. I will just do it anyway. Oops, wrong button. Oh, go back. Sad salt rock flavor of doubt. Domingo's a rich old man, oh my. This standalone novel is going to be published just through Amazon and KDP. Well, Amazon is KDP, but when I say KDP, what I'm referring to is Kindle Select, so I think that's what it's called. But it basically means that rather than relying just on sales of books, which is what I rely on for Immolation, I don't get paid unless people actually buy the book. Versus with this, I'm hopefully able to be paid through page reads. So basically, as long as people crack it open and give it a read on their Kindles, I'll receive at least a little bit of compensation for that. So that's kind of part of why I'm. Well, it's not. Well, yeah, it is part. It's part of why I'm pursuing publishing this book in a different way than I published Immolation. And there's a whole bunch of research that I did, kind of before I made my decision with Immolation. Romance books tend to do better on Kindle Select than fantasy books. So I decided, because Immolation is not a romance novel, and because I knew that I had some people asking, because they're international, where else can we get the digital book? I decided that I was going to publish it wide, which means it cannot be published on Kindle Select, which means that I cannot be paid in page views. Versus this will be specifically only available on Amazon and therefore I can now be paid page views on it. So I'll be really interested to kind of see how that math works out. I don't know that I'd necessarily swap Immolation to being a Kindle exclusive. I kind of like that it's available to everyone kind of wherever they are, but boy howdy, don't make any money off of these things. So if this is a way to kind of get a little bit more back, then I don't know, might be viable. We'll just have to see how it goes. Salt is delicious, just like tears. I'm gonna start snatching money from him. Hopefully it works out for you and you can get some good money. I mean, here's hoping. I mean, obviously I don't publish the stuff, for the money. I would pick a different field if I was going for money. I write because I enjoy it, but, if there is a way to gain, even like a little bit of, income, again, in this cluster yuck of a economy that we're currently in, every little bit counts. I'm trying to save for buying a house, and literally every penny that I can possibly save goes towards the down payment. So, every little bit counts. It doesn't feel like much, but over time, hopefully it'll help. So, we'll see. Just kind of a little bit of a little science experiment to see how this book performs versus Immolation, because they're being published kind of two different ways. Let's see. Yeah, time will tell sort of deal. It's like everything else. Yeah, exactly. If by publishing this little standalone, I can start chipping away at eventually breaking even on Immolation, that'd be great. Because I'm nowhere close. Immolation costs thousands of dollars. It's not even close. So if I could just like start chipping away at breaking even on Immolation, then I'll be happy. I'd be satisfied with that. Okay. We're getting there. It's looking more and more kind of like a forest of brambles, which is basically what it's supposed to look like. I mean, it doesn't look like brambles yet because there's no thorns, but we'll get there. I don't want to cover up her braid too much. I kind of want it to be really obvious that that's her hair. And eventually, when the thorns are added, for example, I'll make it red so you can kind of see it. But when the thorns are added, she's going to have kind of like thorns sticking out from her hair from this branch here that it's stuck on. So I think that'll be cool. When we get there. You think you might have figured out the standalone's title thanks to your site, did you? Chin hands? Would you like to guess? Because you might have figured it out, but you also might not have. I do give you a pretty big hint. keep that one. Figure out the path for that one later. Black Knight, based off the same logic, immolation is presented on your site. So you're very close. And you do have basically, what would that be? 66%. You have 66% of the title, which again is pretty obvious based off of how the URLs are laid out. You have immolation and so on. But there is one word that you're missing. There's technically 3 words. Well, not technically. There are 3 words in the title. So you've got the first 2. And I don't really give you any hints. So this isn't something that you're going to be able to really deduce, I don't think. That third word, because I really don't give you any hints as to what it might be. I forgot to ping the Discord today, didn't I? Oh, my goodness. Oh, well. I probably have like 15 more minutes. I'm just realizing, oh my gosh, I forgot to ping the Discord. I'm so sorry. I really need to get like a bot or something that just does it automatically for me. Ugh. Oh well. I'm going to make that bigger so it doesn't align perfectly with the edge of her sleeve. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad you could make it today, Dragon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Wonderful West. Oh my goodness. Wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. Also, O. O as in the one word is missing. So there's one word missing from the title. I don't think you're gonna be able to figure it out based off of I don't really give you any hints as to what it might be, but there is a third word. Maybe once this art is finished, it'll be the official cover reveal and you'll get the title. And in case you're not in the Discord, I'll go ahead and put a link to the Discord as well. Let me send that. I mean, for what good it does when I forget to ping everybody. Ah, my goodness. One day I'll be a real content creator. Let's see. Oh, come on. You're not gonna let me come. Last word might be a name of a place. Mm, Not the name of a place. That's a good guess, but not the name of a place. There we go. Goodness gracious. Finally. Oh, Discord, why are you the way that you are? Alright. I wonder if YouTube has little bots that'll just kind of routinely post stuff for people in case, or they can like be prompted. I know Twitch used to have that back when I used Twitch. So you could just like prompt it like, hey, what's the Discord? It would give you the Discord link, but oh well. I'll worry about that another time. Something good to have for stream, but not something I have at the moment. The third word, let's see. The third word is an adjective. It's an adjective. So it's not a location, it's not a noun, it is an adjective. That is your hint. And I don't expect you to be able to deduce it based off of that. We have the mythological Black Knight in the blurb, true, but mythological isn't the adjective. And remember, you've got the first two words of the title, so there isn't anything that comes before Black Knight. It's Black Knight and another word. And again, I don't think you'd necessarily be able to deduce this from the blurb or any of the information that's kind of given to you. But who knows? You might stumble across it. Hello, Ver. Welcome in. How are you today? I completely forgot to ping the Discord. Oh my God, why am I the way that I am? I hope you're having a good weekend. Currently working on my spiky boys, which don't have any spikes yet. It's just the branches so far, but we're getting there, slowly but surely. And I'll be adding the thorns in. I don't think the brambles are gonna have any like flower blooms on them. I think it's just gonna be thorns. Headachy, but super enjoying Expedition 33. Ooh, I hope your headache breaks. But I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. That's awesome. Oops. I forgot to put it on Tumblr. I forgot to put it on Blue Sky. I forgot to share the stream everywhere. Oh my God. Oh, why am I the way that I am? Game is so beautiful. I strongly suggest it to anyone who likes RPGs. Ooh. Eyes emoji. I might peek at it. I mean, as if I have time. But still, might do it anyways. I got sucked back into Balatro this weekend. I just ended up playing that kind of a good chunk of yesterday afternoon, just having a nice time playing my silly little card game. I don't know if I want to have a branch go through this space here, or if I want to leave that open and we'll just kind of see her. She will eventually have a head. I know right now she just doesn't, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to put something there, but I will sketch something in for now, and we'll see. I think one kind of up there, that would make sense. We'll see. It could be anything from Black Knight Faithful to Black Knight Haunting. Well, to give you a hint, you're getting closer with the second one. I'm not going to say haunting is the correct word or even the correct adjective, but technically, in a very roundabout way, you are getting closer. And that roundabout way is going to make you mad at me when you figure out how I mean that. It's pretty cheap also, not the 70, 80 they're expecting people to pay. That's refreshing for once. My goodness. We love a reasonably priced game in this economy. I'm also wondering, and you guys can give me your thoughts on this. I don't plan on adding it at the moment. I think the cover works fine as it is, but I am considering whether or not I add any hands to this. And by that I mean it'd be the Black Knight's little fingies, his little hands in there somewhere kind of reaching for her. I'm not sure if I'm going to add that. I think it kind of works just fine as it is. But it's an idea that I had while I was working on it earlier. Is that? Oh gosh, I put all of these on separate layers. That's gonna be really just kidding. I found it. Let's take this one. Does this overlap? Oh, thank goodness it doesn't. Okay, good. Good job past me for not doing that. So I'm gonna move this one up a little bit. I'm gonna have this one be the one that her hair is getting stuck on. Which means it might need to go behind her instead. I think it does. That's okay. I can do that. So let's say that. Tweak that, but that's okay. This is this other hair. Let's see, where did it go? No, it's in the original hair layer. Just kidding. Do I have to hide each piece of this individually? There it is. only one pair of hands. I kind of like when there's lots of fingies reaching for someone. That could work. Let's give them hunting gloves. He's got like black armor, because like obviously it's Black Knight, right? So he's got black armor that kind of matches the brambles, so I was kind of thinking. And technically there is more than one, so it could be multiple hands, technically. But that's a lot of technicalities that I just slipped in there. But yeah, I don't know. We could have some hands in here. I mean, I don't know. We already have to deal with rendering these hands, which is going to be a hassle as is. So I don't know. It could be. Well, it might be covered up by text if we do that, but I don't know. Because I think it could look cool. And it would give kind of... It would symbol... That's not the right word. Symbol? No, it's not the right word. Signal. Signal. Similar sound, different word. It would signal to the reader, or to a prospective reader, that there is this other character involved. It would be because it would show like the actual physical hands. I don't know. I'll ask my friend who's going to render it about that and ask what she thinks. Because she might be able to give me a good suggestion for where the hand should go. Because we could have some little grabby hands. Looks like a duck flipper. Anyways. But yeah, I don't know. That could be cool. It'll just depend. I need to fix some of her armor anyways. I never decided if I'm gonna give her earrings. I mean, her armor already is very not protected. Her armor is there to look pretty. It is not meant to be protective, because this is a fantasy romance and realism goes out the window. But I was like, oh, well, you know, she wouldn't really wear earrings because those could easily be like ripped out in a fight. That'd be a bad idea. And then I'm like, she's already not wearing armor that's meant to be protective. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give her earrings just because I think they'd look pretty. Because, like, for example, just something. You know, the vague vibe might look cute. Feeling cute, might delete later. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because it'd be kind of fun if, like, maybe you see it's like pink, but it's just so you can see it. Could have some evil hands slipping around. You'd have to imagine that, like, comes from back here, and that it's kind of hard to tell what is the bramble and kind of what is this hand over here. I don't know. It's an idea. I think it could look cool. It's more hands to render, and then you have to remember that, granted, could this be a separate piece and like a separate print? Yeah, maybe. But you'd have to remember that it's going to have like the text in front of it, right? So I don't necessarily want it to be too busy. This is not good handwriting, but to remember that it's going to have like words in front of it. So I don't know. I want to avoid it being too busy, but I also think it'd be really cool to have the hands in there. It'd be nice if I could get one of his hands to be kind of up. I'm not sure how that would really work, but it would be kind of nice to have like his hand up near her face somehow. I'm not sure really how that would work, but I don't know, could be cool. Flower earrings, maybe? It looks like a dog. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know, I'll kind of throw these sketches at my friend and see what she's interested in and what she thinks would work. Flower earrings, I could see that. I mean, she's got kind of this flower motif on her armor. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more because technically she has like she has her peach pink kind of palette, but then she also has kind of like a very sunshine yellow gold color to her because one of her symbols is usually the sunflower. So it could be fun to have like more of the flower motif on her earrings. I don't know. We'll see. I have to tweak all this because obviously these, hold on, because obviously these, they don't look like sunflowers. They're just kind of placeholders for now while I tweak more things, but they'll probably look a little bit more sunflower-ish once I get closer to the final product. So we'll see. But I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. I need to go eat some lunch and get back to work on writing and my weekend chores and kind of all of that fun stuff. So I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for coming today. I am so sorry that I forgot to ping the Discord and post it pretty much everywhere. I posted on Instagram, but that's it. And I should have posted it elsewhere, but oh well. But yes, I hope you had a good time. Thank you so much for coming. I will be back not next week, but the week after. And I will keep you guys updated on what beta readers say about the manuscript, because I'll be very curious, because it's a pretty big departure from if you've read Immolation. This is a pretty different beast. So thank you again, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your weekend.